Hi everyone. In this session, we are going to learn about what is default gateway. See, till now in the previous topics, we already learned about what is an IP address, what is subnet mask, and then in the TCP/IP properties, the next column what we have is default gateway. What is default gateway? Why it is important? And all these things with examples, we are going to have a look. See, first thing, what is a default gateway? See, for example, we have one network. See, again, we already discussed what is the meaning of network. For example, we have one Australia network. Okay, so let me draw a diagram so that you can understand. Imagine this is an Australia network, AUS. Okay, so in this network, imagine some more switches are connected, switch 1, switch 2 and switch 3, and to this switch all the computers are connected. Now, if the connectivity is there, if I need a communication between these computers, do I require a gateway? The answer is no, we don't require any gateway when we are going to communicate within the same network. Again, I am repeating, when we need to communicate within the same network, we don't see, for example, we have rooms. Imagine we have some rooms. Okay, these are like rooms. This is room 1, this is room 2, this is room 3. Now, if I need to communicate the people, if I am standing here, if I need to communicate the people within the room 1, do I need to go to door and then come outside and communicate? No, I don't need to go to the gate. These are my gates to go outside. So when we use gates, when we need to make a communication from room 1 to room 2, then what do I need to go to gate? Yes, it is mandatory for you to go to the gate and check, and then by the gate itself you can go to the other door and then you can come inside. So that means in simple terms, when we have different networks, at that time when you need a communication between two different networks or something, at that time the doors will come into picture. Doors or something called your gateways will come into picture. Now another question, if I have 3 rooms, how many doors I have? I will have 1 door or I will have 3 doors? I will have 3 doors, 3 different doors I will have. Every room will have its own door. In the same way, in real time, if I have 3 different networks, as I mentioned, Australia, India and Malaysia, some other 3 different networks are there. Australia, India and UAE. Just imagine we have 3 different networks. So for every network, we will have one gate, one door. Now, if I have some 16 million computers in Australia, will I have only one gate? Yes, the answer is we have only one gate. We don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 something. No. For every network, you have only one gate. See, in an office, sometimes what happen, you may have 3 different departments, okay? Sales department, IT department and marketing department. For 3 different departments, you have 3 different networks. For 3 different networks, you will have 3 different gateways. In a simple term, every network will have its own gateway. In a question, for example, if you have 10 networks in your organization, how many gateways you have? You have one gateway? No, you have 10 gateways. How many number of networks? That much number of gateways you will have. Now, in reality, what is the meaning of gateway? See, gateway is something called an IP address which is assigned to one specific machine or one specific port. So, which is that port? Let me explain you now. See, for example, imagine we have 3 different networks. For example, this is my first network, second network and third network. Okay, and let me write the names as 3 different networks as Australia, India and UAE. 3 different networks. Okay, what are the 3 different networks? For example, this network is 10 network. For your understanding, I am writing an IP, or you can understand like +61 is the network, India +91 is the network, UAE +971 is the network. This is 10 network, this is 20 network, this is 30 network. So I have 3 different networks now. So when I need a communication between these computers within the 10 network, do I require any gateway? No, I don't require, because when I need to go within the network, I don't need to go to any gate. But now when I need to go to this 20 network, again I need to connect a device called a router. See, for this you should see the video for what are the different network devices to understand about these network devices. In our one of the video I explained about what are the different network devices. We have routers, switches, firewall, repeater, all these devices I gave an explanation. So just go through that video so that you can understand. So what are these network devices, which device to use when, all these things we already explained. Just go through that videos. Okay, see, at present just I tell that this is my switch. Why I use switch, that explanation I already gave in that videos. Please go through that videos. So imagine these are like 3 different switches, 3 different networks. Now to connect these 3 networks together, I need a network device called a router. So what this router I will do, I will connect this router by using a cable, and by using a cable. So now the switch ports, I don't need to assign any IP address because these devices are called layer 2 device. Why it is called layer 2 device? And again in OSI layers, we gave the explanation for this, why it is a layer 2 device. In switches also we have layer 3 also, but again in this explanation I am just giving, we use a switch, and for switch ports we don't require any IP address because it makes communication with MAC address. But now the router port requires an IP address. What IP we can assign? See, this IP, it is connected to Australia network. This IP is connected to India network. This IP is connected to UAE network. So I should assign the IP which comes from the same network. For example, I assign 10.0.0.100. See, it's not like 100. You can assign any IP address from this specific network. And then the second, for example, for the India, so I can assign 20.0.0.100. This I want to assign 30.0.0.100. So now these 3 IPs I assign to my router ports. So what are these 3, you know? These are the gateways. These are the gateways for your network. So for the whole Australia network, you have only one gate called this. And for the whole India network, this becomes the gate. And for the UAE network, this becomes the gate. You cannot change the values also. If you change, otherwise it will not work. So basically, routers, ports are the gateways for your network. Okay, whatever the IP you are going to assign to a router port, this is my router. Okay, whatever the router ports you are going to assign, the IP address, that IP address will become the default gateway for all the computers inside the network. Okay, so basically what is a default gateway? Default gateway is used. Why we use default gateway? We use default gateway when we need a communication from one network to another network. The switches, what they do, they pass the information to the router port, so that router checks that identity and then it forwards to the appropriate destination. I hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you for joining Tech Skills. Have a great day. Thank you.